let's talk about how we might solve a system of linear equations with graphing. Now, first of all, this is just really common language that we use in math when we say, solving systems of linear equations. Let me just explain what that means. That just means we're trying to figure out where two lines intersect one another, okay? That's what we're trying to say. Where do these two lines meet? So that is a point, right? That is an X and a Y. These two lines will meet at some point out in our plane. Now, the by graphing part, there are lots of ways to solve this, but I want to introduce just kind of the most obviously visual way, using a graph. But I also want to point out this is probably not the method you'd want to use. There are other better methods I will have videos on as well, but this is a nice preliminary way. So let's begin with this. We have our line here, x minus 2. I'm going to graph that in red. I'm just going to use, this is the y-intercept, the part that's not on x. Our slope is the coefficient on x, so I've got a y-intercept of -2 right here. And I have a slope of 1, so over 1, up 1, over like this. And I can just draw that line in like that. I'll make it go back this way as well. There's my line. Let's do this other one in blue, okay? So again, using our this is my y-intercept, and that is my slope. So the y-intercept is -5 right here. And the slope is -2. Now I don't really have that real plane to see on my graph, so I'm going to kind of work backwards here. Obviously, it would kind of go down here. So we're going to draw that line as best I can, like this. And remember, we're trying to figure out where these things intersect one another. Well, that intersection point is right there, where I've highlighted. Well, we need the x and y. So x is -1, right? We went back 1. We went down 3. So my coordinate is -1, -3. And if you wanted to check that, you could plug this in. You could say, well, if I plug in -1, -1 minus 2 is -3. -2 times -1 is +2, minus 5 is -3. So you can see that if I plug -1 in for x, I get -3 for both equations. So we've solved it. Again, solving a system just means at what coordinate do these two intersect. Let's do another example. All right, so here's another pair of lines we're going to graph, and again, we're going to figure out where they intersect. Don't forget, solving systems, just a fancy way of saying where do these two lines intersect each other. So we're going to graph this first one in red again. Y-intercept is the number that's added or subtracted, and the coefficient on x is our slope. So -1, and our slope is 1, so over 1, up 1. We'll just kind of continue it. We'll draw the line in going this way. I'll draw the line in going this way, like that. Now this next one, we'll graph in blue, and the y-intercept, easy enough, that's just going to be 2. We can put that right here. Now this slope, there are a couple of ways to think about this. You could either think about the fact that because it's -1/2, remember a slope is for every one you go over an x, you go up or down, whatever the slope is. So we could easily say, all right, over 1, down 1/2. Put a point right there. Over 1, down 1/2 right there. The other way you could think about it is that slope is like, rise over run. You could apply that negative and say, okay, I went down 1 and over 2. Down 1, over 2. Down 1, over 2. Either way, of course, gets the exact same thing. So I'm going to just, go kind of down 1 over 2, kind of that rise over run idea here. And I'll draw that line like that. And now that we have the line drawn in once again, we can say, well, we're solving the system. We want to know where these things intersect. So we could just say, all right, well, it's right here. This is where they intersect. The x is over 2. The y is up 1, so it's the point 2, comma 1. Do not forget that you should be reporting both the x and the y. Again, there are other ways, better ways to solve this, but this is a nice visual way to start with. If this video helped you, please like and subscribe for more math help.